All right, welcome back to the Attack the Rack YouTube channel. We've got a special video here. Chad and I have been texting a little bit back and forth throughout the week here, going into week 10 about making a trade in our fantasy football league. And we thought, hey, let's record our negotiations and let's post it as a video. Basically, what we're trying to do here is Chad's looking for a wide receiver. I need a running back desperately. My running backs, Austin Eckler. Who else do I got? Ezekiel Elliott.
You
Uh,
got you got Etienne. He just
yeah,
hasn't played at
right,
all. I don't know
right,
if he's
exactly.
playing this week either, but
Yep.
you you
Um,
kind of you kind of came into the season hoping for Eckler,
yeah,
light on running back, and it really hasn't hurt you record wise. You're 5-3.
I'm 5-3. I got Tyler Algier as well. So I mean, nobody really. I definitely don't have an RB1 for sure.
You've kind of been going zero RB
Yeah,
and
I've
still
been.
winning.
Yeah, because I've been getting, our league, just for you guys out there, we start two quarterbacks. I've been getting consistent points from Goff and Geno Smith. That's who my two starters are. Um, my wide receivers have been awesome. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I had Puka, who obviously was hurt most of the season. Um,
Came back last week, but he punched a guy and got
yeah,
ejected.
right, exactly. So and then I got Kelsey, I got Butker. I've been kind of picking up and dropping defenses here and there. So I've mostly been getting points from quarterbacks and wide receivers, which I think is probably pretty common, at least in a scoring system like our league. Just so, again, so everyone knows out there, quarterbacks are big point scorers. I know most leagues are running back heavy. Ours are quarterback, so that's why it's not a huge concern that I don't really have an RB1. But Chad has proposed to me an opportunity to possibly get a better running back. And I am in a world of hurt this week because I only have one starting quarterback. Um, I was rolling
Well, but
with,
at first, what we talked about was I want Jefferson,
yes,
and you've pretty much said no all along to Jefferson.
right.
So then last week you also have Amon-Ra St. Brown. And
Who,
so what
if we're going to work out a deal, it's going to have to include Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably, but we'll
so
see.
Jefferson is not even an option.
I really don't want to, but it depends again. Um, the last text that you sent me included, who did it include? Running back.
Well, I did offer two running backs. Yeah. And you had no idea who this guy was, which
Yeah.
you
But
asked.
before we
Oh, go
get
ahead.
into this, let's explain here why I also now need a quarterback because Geno Smith is on a bye. I have Andy Dalton, but they've gone back with
Bryce
uh,
Young.
Bryce Young. I got Jameis Winston, but he's on a bye. And I have Jacoby Brissett, who's no longer starting. Drake May is the starter now in New England. So as of now, my only quarterback I've got that can play this week is Jared Goff. So now I really would really need a quarterback. So I need a quarterback. I'd love to upgrade at running back. And obviously, the only thing really that we're going to be able to make a deal here is if I give up a wide receiver, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we first were talking, I said, I think, which running back or which combo of players gets me a chance at Jefferson?
Yeah.
And you've kind of stiff armed that away. We went back and forth a little bit, and I think last week you kind of got me comfortable with Josh Jacobs for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes.
And in a normal league, maybe people would look at that and make fun of me, probably. I don't know.
I don't know
Maybe
because
not.
again, most leagues are so running back heavy.
Well, yeah, so running back heavy. If I'm giving up the running
Oh yeah.
back for a wide
Yes.
receiver, they might be making fun of me
Right.
at that. But so my running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, and then I've picked up during the season, or maybe I drafted Chase Brown too. I think I drafted Chase Brown And then during the season, I picked up Tyrone Tracy,
Yeah.
and I've just been making the wrong calls every single week, which is stupid. I should just kind of stick with two of them,
Yeah.
probably Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs, and play them every single week. But I look at the dumb weekly rankings and I flip-flop and I pick the wrong ones.
Yeah.
And so that's where last week when we were going back and forth, I kind of was like, okay, fine. I feel like I'll give up the more valuable player, but I need consistency at wide receiver.
Right.
So then your QB need comes up,
Right. And
and
then the situation changed drastically.
well, yeah, it changed, but you just offered, all right, just throw in Joe Flacco for the same player I was going to give you just for Josh Jacobs.
Hey, it's a good place to start, right? It's a negotiation. And then I offered you, so we have the way our league works with the waiver wire. We have 10,000 waiver wire dollars that we can use. And those can also be used in trades. So I said, how about Amon Ra and some waiver wire dollars for Joe Flacco and Brandon Jacobs.
Because you get a lot of waiver wire money.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in that, Kurt.
that's fine. That's fine. Um, so let's move on. Let's obviously I want Flacco, I want Jacobs. You need a wide receiver. You then were willing to throw in what other running back?
I said Tyrone Tracy, and you
Oh,
responded, who is that?
right.
And then
Exactly.
I th
Tell us a little bit about
well,
him.
and then I think I said, I have no idea either.
Yeah,
He's a
but
running
he's getting points.
he's a running back I've picked up that I should be playing every single week, and I would be winning games.
So tell me his point totals the last few weeks then.
So since week 5, he had a buck 29 on the ground and 15 points. Week 6, he had 50 rushing yards, 57 receiving yards, and a touchdown on the ground for 25 points. 50 yards is important for our league. That's the threshold for rushing. That's the threat. You get 49 yards, 0 points. You get 50, you get 8 points. And then after that, every 10 yards adds you an extra point.
Yep.
So what we've labeled that, for passing, it's 250. And there was a guy, Matt Hasselback, that was notorious for going in the 240s.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of, anytime you're really close but you don't get it, we call it the Hasselback.
Yeah.
So
So
weeks,
you gotta get 250 yards passing before you get any points at all. 249, 0, 250, 10, and then the same thing with the running backs, wide receivers. Every 10 yards after that, you get another point. Wide receiver, tight end yardage is the same as running backs. It starts at 50.
yeah. So week 6 he got 25. Week 7 against Philly, he scored 1 point. I think he got concussed in that game. He only had 23 rushing yards. But then he bounced right back against the Steelers, 30 points, 145 on the ground. And then
Okay.
last week he only had 9. He got 16 carries for 66 yards. Um, yeah. So
Okay.
with your running back situation, I tried to sweeten the pot, Flacco, Jacobs, Tracy to entice you for Jefferson.
Okay.
But you had no idea who he was.
Right. Now I'm kind of liking that, Chad, because now I got Jameson coming back, so that gives me another option at wide receiver. I got Jordan Addison as well. So basically, I'd be upgrading both my running back spots. The thing is that I'd probably only be using Joe Flacco,
One
for one
week.
week.
Yeah.
Um, and this is our trade deadline, so it's not like I could now try to trade him for something else going forward. Whew. Um, but I absolutely got to have Joe Flacco. So, and you're
Or
staying.
what's that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, or I mean, teams have done this before where you just stand still, and punt on the week and hopefully you get lucky. You've done that before. I know
Yeah,
you've gone
I've won
into
games with one quarterback before.
you've won games, I think, with seven players
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
And
The problem is that I lost a game 2 weeks ago that I should have won. I didn't. It was Puka's first game back, and I didn't start him, and he scored 16 points. And had I started him, I would have won my game. So I'm like in my head, I'm feeling like I'm a game. I should be 6-2, not 5-3. And so I don't really want to punt on any weeks now because I want to try to make up for that. I kind of feel like, hey, if I that even though that wasn't a punt, if I'm gonna punt once, that was my punt. So I don't want to do that again.
Jacobs is on bye this week. Full disclosure.
Yeah, yep.
That kind of snuck up on me.
Um, Nakua's questionable. What the other unknown, the other running back that we haven't heard of? What's his injury status? You said he was concussed a couple weeks ago.
Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah,
I mean, he bounced back. I think he went out of that game early, but that was 2 weeks ago. He bounced right back and tore up the Steelers.
and he's not on the injury report. Not even
He's
probable.
no designation.
So
He is,
you're saying the only way I'm going to get these three guys is if I give you Justin Jefferson. There's no, I can give you Amon Ra and something else.
well, what would that something else be?
That's the problem. When I look at my roster, I don't see, you'd have to tell me. I don't see anything else that you would probably need or want.
Well, so when we talked about throwing Flacco in, I asked if you were interested in Aaron Jones. And then I asked about Jameis. You love
Um,
Jameis, though.
what's your tight end situation?
I have Kittle, Hawkinson, and Cade Otton.
Okay, so you do not need Cole Kmet.
No, no, I've ridden that train before.
Um,
Cole Kmet only scores against me.
and if he's playing in London.
What weeks did we play each other?
That was the only week I used him because I had to because Kelsey was on a bye. The game was
Yeah.
in London,
What week was that?
and he scored two touchdowns.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that
That
was
was
you versus me. And
yeah.
someone else has done that against me too with Cole Kmet. I think it might have been you.
Um, man. Um,
Because what if it's Flacco Jones for Jameis Amon-Ra?
I don't really want to give up another starting. When does the Colts buy? Have they had their buy?
Colts by no, it's week 14. But you're
So,
past
so
your
I would
buys.
need well
You're past your buys with Gino and
and Goff.
yeah, this is your 1 week.
Okay, so say that again. Jameis
Jameis, Amon-Ra,
for
Flacco, Aaron Jones.
can you do Brandon Jacobs instead of Aaron Jones?
I can't do Brandon because I don't have Brandon Jacobs. I have Josh
I
Jacobs.
mean, sorry, Josh Jacobs
Josh Jacobs and Flacco.
for Amon Ra and Jameis.
Let me think about it. Are
I'm
you thinking at all about the Flacco Jacobs Tracy for Jefferson?
not going to tell you that. We're not talking about that now. Now we're talking about Flacco and Josh
Flacco,
Jacobs. Flacco and Josh Jacobs for Jameis and Amon Ra.
Flacco, Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Jameis. Okay, give me a little time.
Okay.
You won't do Jones? Will you do Flacco Jones for Amon-Ra Jameson? You don't like Aaron Jones?
What's he at? Give me his. What's he average per week compared to Jacobs?
Jones,
And is he healthy?
Jones. I do have the backup running back too that I could give to you.
Okay.
Ty Chandler. Jacobs is averaging 13, or I'm sorry, Jones is averaging 13. Jacobs is averaging 15, but his 15, oh, he hasn't been hurt. So he is averaging 15. He has one goose egg.
Okay.
So he's averaging 15 and Jones is averaging 13.
And he's healthy.
He's healthy.
So Flacco and Jones for Amon-Ra and Jameis.
And if you want the backup, you can have the backup.
All right,
Ty
let's do
Chandler.
it.
All right, so what's the third piece you're gonna give me then? Freaking Cole Kmet?
Why do I got to give you a third piece?
Well, you got to drop somebody.
So I might as well just give it to you. Uh, how about Sean Tucker?
Okay.
All right. So everyone out there, here's what we decided on. I get Flacco, I get Aaron Jones, and I get Packers backup running back. What's his name again? Ty
Ty Chandler.
Chandler. And Chad gets Jameis Winston, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Sean Tucker. Trade completed.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, you enjoyed this negotiation back and forth between Chad and I for our fantasy football league. And we'll see you in the next video.